Hi guys, it's Wrangler Dad. I just wanted to touch base on another video about my faith. More of a clarification on how I am as a person on that topic. Since, you all don't know me, but that's okay, I'll be as honest as a human being possibly can. So how I grew up, my faith is not from having gone to church so much. Like I was an altar boy at 13 because he saved my life from almost getting shot paintballing in Oshawa in Ravine, because I'm from Quebec, and at 13 years old you're kind of allowed to do that in the bush over there. I don't know the notion of a ravine yet, so young and naive that I almost got shot. Long story, I'll touch base on their video. So he saved my life, and I gave him free reign over anything he wants to happen to me in my life, just to show what he's capable of to everyone. So, and not to be like, hey, look at me. Like I asked that because I hate myself. I've always have. I never, sure, everyone has maybe a moment of pride, but then as soon as you feel it, it's our duty to go, ugh, what is that? Why would I think like that? Like, I view intrusive thoughts as Satan, because, it's intrusive, it's not wanted, and you're like, why am I thinking this? So vile. Well, that's kind of him, and in your chest, that's your soul, right? Well, that's, your soul is connected to the real soul, like the original soul, which is God, right? So I view him as the soul reactor for all souls. Without him, there's no souls. We're done, right? You shut off the nuclear reactor, no more energy, or hydro dam, no more energy, that kind of notion. So, and we're the energy. So that's being fed, and we're the houses that have energy being fed to, right? So which is our souls, and the house is our body. So I seen the other side for a few minutes, came back, in front of my wife. She was scared to death. She couldn't feel pulse. I wasn't breathing for about 2 minutes, but then I came back. It was 3.5 hours up there. And let me tell you, the reason why I listened to him, meaning the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth, at 13. And at 14, I decided to say, hey, I want to say thank you to your dad too, in person, because we all got to go through you, right? So, and I didn't read the Bible really much yet, so, and even if I did at that age, I wouldn't understand anything. It's more for mature brains, right? Like, I've done fully grown, you learned your basic foundations of being good and right and wrong and all that stuff. So, all that to say, I'll describe this place, so if any of you have seen it, have the same kind of moment as me, you'll be like, great, another one who's seen it. And if you haven't, don't worry, you can just ask. He'll show you. He will. I didn't believe in prejudgment. That's why it all happened. I didn't. I found it as a cop-out to hide away from doing your diligent duties and nobility and humility of action of service towards a calling, which is directed to the Lord. So that's how I viewed it. Still do. And, anyway, I saw the other side, off topic, I saw the other side, and I saw 3 massive mountains, like one here, and one here, like a triangle form in the middle that does like a circle, right? And it's like a pool of water or something like that. Mountains are 3 times the size of Everest, is what he said, 3 to 4 times. They're huge. And because I asked him, I was like, I've never seen something like this. He's like, no, it's the mountains, how they look, like the design is, if you ever watch Band of Brothers, that part where they hit Austria or I forget the country, and you see the mountains, and you're like, hey, are we gonna ski up those, run up those, or ski down them? Take those mountains, make it 3 times the size of Everest, 3 side, like in a triangle form, one here, one here, one here, kind of thing. Well, they're connected into one massive mountain, is what it's like. And his kingdom's built within the ridge. Like, built within it, like, not destroying how we'll blow things up and level things. It's just a part of it. It's beautiful. And how it happened is I blacked out. I told my wife I feel funny, and I don't know what this feeling is. And all of a sudden I lost control of my body. I was running head first like this for the wall, but how I came out of the room was backwards, and like someone was carrying me. She said it was the weirdest thing she's ever seen. I was already gone before I even before I was like going for the wall. Like I was gone. All I heard was a gunshot sound right beside my ear, like a poof, and my vision went black. Didn't feel my body anymore. After like the running part, like 2 steps, 3 steps, I went completely dark. And I felt like I was floating in this place that's all pitch black, but I could see my body, kind of like the empty and supernatural. You know, it was very peaceful, but then all of a sudden, whoa, where am I? And I'm inside this not mansion. I'm gonna say it's very, very beautiful castle, you know, look and design inside and out. And I see this. I hear these big, heavy footsteps, and there's a hall over here. It turns this way, about 25, 30 feet tall, maybe 20 to 30 feet tall. That gap. Remember, I'm just guesstimating. Whereas someone that looked like an attitude, and the best description I can give you, just make the skin smooth like a youth, but he's old, and he has the attitude and persona of humor and joy of life as and I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy, Gandalf the Grey, but he's as pristine as Gandalf the White. So, and he's always happy and stuff like that. Even if he has to tell you something, like he told me, he's like, oh, read this, and on I look at the podium, the Book of Life, but since we're 2000 something, you know, it's just a heavy big book. It was a podium that had a built-in tablet and he used the word perfect. I guess here's the pun, right? My words are perfect. So that's why I caught on there, and I started laughing. He's like, no, read, it's serious. So I read, and it was in the Valley of the Shadow of Death, Fear No Evil. So I stopped halfway at that point. I went, oh, why you tell me this? I was scared, panicked. I'm not gonna lie, I was like a little child, terrified, alone. And he was like, no, I'm telling this because you're gonna need it. But don't worry, you'll be fine. That's why I'm telling you this. Why would I tell you something in advance if it's gonna go wrong for you? I'm showing you that when this happens, don't worry. This is a part of my plan. So to come back, I saw the gates down there first. All of a sudden, I'm in this tunnel. It's all like chipped, going like this. There's candles, all like these castles. And I was like, what's down there? And it was a glowing light, like reddish amber. And he's like, you don't want to go down there. You don't want to take a look. But you will. I know you. You will. So I walk slowly and apprehensively, and I look around the corner like this as I'm peering the corner. And I see this rusted old gate with a massive padlock. And it's just like ground inside a mountain. People are hurting each other. Demons are hurting people all over the place. And there was like a Lion King rock there. And there was one sitting there alone, just watching over thing. And we saw me, he was hooting and hollering, and I got mad, and God himself like raised his voice saying, enough. But by the E in enough, I was already in this giant field under this massive tree, and the mountains were in front of me, far off in the distance, like not too far, but maybe about 2-hour walk, right? Kind of distance, an hour walk. And I was in trance, like, whoa, like what is this? Like I got hit by a sledgehammer in the chest. And he says, this, Nick, this at the end of your life is where you'll be. I didn't know what it was until a year later. Some Mormons came by the homeless shelter, and I'm not Mormon, but you know, God, right? I talk to people, and when I described the place, he's like, "You saw the highest part of heaven." I was there. What? I don't know this, right? I still don't. I just know what I was shown. I'm just telling you guys what I've seen. That's it. I'm not telling you guys I'm perfect or not. I'm this. That's what I am. I've caused so much wrong in my life and so much violence in bars and shit like that. And I was always the excessive one. I felt like since I was a grunt, I had to prove it, like in movies, right? Heartbreak Ridge, Clint Eastwood drinking a bar and fucking fighting and shit like that. Found out that reality is a little different. So, I'm not saying, like, I'm just trying to, this is knowledge I got out of a health scare, and I just wanted to share it because it's free. And trust me, like, don't trust me, trust the Lord. I'm following it as best I can since I'm 6 years old, since I saw Satan. And I know most of you won't believe me, but that's why I'm trying to give you hints of his voice and stuff like that, and his attitude and what he looks like with these videos. And I wrote Night Terror for the people that don't watch these videos of God, you know, that I'm making. So they're like, oh, okay, it's a night terror. But me and my mom were both awake that night. She came down, and I stayed up all night after that moment to make sure if I don't go to bed, it's real, right? If I don't wake up because I stayed up all night, it was real. So I did that. And my mom came downstairs and she pretended like it never happened. I was like, so it happened. It was real. And then she's like, what are you talking about? It was just a dream. And then I told her what I did all night to make sure it was real, and she started crying. And I told her I'm going to tell everyone I can about this. And she says, don't. I tried. No one's going to believe you. It's this world. She says, don't. Just keep it to yourself. And I said, no, I'm going to make him mad down there. Because I'm going to show that he's real. And the reason why I'm doing these videos so much time is I know I'm going to be going into a hospital. I had these dreams. Dreams become deja vus. Before dreams are visions. The Bible even mentions that. I've been having them my whole life. I saw my wife in advance. I saw my son in advance. I saw our home in advance. It's the town I live in that I've never seen before, and the house I'm in. So, I don't deserve any of it. I really don't. And not after the things I've done in my youth. Well, I'm still young, but I mean like 14 years ago to 10 years ago, 11 years ago. My wife is what turned me around 11 years ago. And on a dime, like the first week I met her and I dropped alcohol. And I'm just trying to give you guys free knowledge. You know, it doesn't hurt. And you don't believe me, it's okay. You can pray to God and ask. You know, he'll give you dreams. But I know I'm going to end up in a hospital. And I saw in 2017 that I was 118 pounds. Slunched over in a wheelchair that had a built-in bedpan. And I was crapping blood all the time. 2017 I wasn't. Fast forward to 2023 of May, I have diarrhea that comes out high pressure water like you're dehydrated, but it's just pure blood and clots. It's been 3 years right now. Almost 3 years, two and a half, something like that. Doctors still can't figure it out. I got a CT scan on the 29th coming up. I waited a whole year since December 2024 for it because they didn't believe I have something wrong. And my in-law at the same time, they're going to give me one that night just to make sure. But my in-law was being a pain, and he didn't want to wait from 8 to midnight. So I looked at him and said, fine, I'll be the monument to all your sins. Let's go home. Now look, purple eyes are crazy. I don't know if you can see it, but it used to be here, and now it's all the way down here. And my teeth all falling out. I have no more chewing teeth. Not really. They're broken. And this one's losing everything here. So, and I know I'm smoking cigarettes. I'm not stupid. But God told me, like, he showed me that I pass in my hospital bed. And my last words are, it was one heck of a wild ride, Lord. I'm ready to come home. And except I fade out and I come back. So that's why I'm making these videos. So when that moment does happen, I already said things I meant about a hospital and blah, 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 and what I'm going to be like. So I'll try as best I can. Because I was 180 pounds, now I'm 140 to 138, it fluctuates. And my dream I had was 118 pounds. I'm 6'1". So that's quite anorexic, that's lethal. I've been dating only eggs since November last year, 3 eggs a day. That's about it. Just to make sure my son has food to eat, like more, like we're not starving. But I'm a martyr. That's how I am. Like my dad was that way. He'd be the last to eat, the last to everything. Need shoes, he wouldn't buy himself any. They'd open, they'd be ripping when he'd walk, completely talking, and just to make sure his kids had things. So I'm doing the same thing, like those good things of him I'm doing. So I'm deliberately doing this to show I have faith in the Lord, to show, and I'm not testing him because he showed me this in advance before I knew any of this. So I'm just following the game plan. I care about you all. That's why I don't care if I'm being mocked or laughed or what the hell is this guy talking about. Like, I don't. As long as even if there's just 4, 5, or 2 of you out of 10,000 or 5,000 or 200, or I don't care, that listened and followed it and found out that it's true through asking, seeking and finding, ask, receive, knock, open. Trust me, he's not trying to make it hard on anyone. He really isn't up there. He made it really easy. Obviously being the world's illusion and a product of our environment is what's making it really hard on us to be good. It's not us, it's our environment. Hang around nuclear radiation, you're gonna get fucking sick. And that's kind of what's going on. This planet's a beautiful place that's been turned into a, hey, bills and money and look good, and you're better than everyone else if your bank account is a higher number and your house is worth more, and you can buy things that are expensive and brag about it and stuff and look at your body, and you see where this is going. I don't want you guys thinking I'm like going like, ha, look at you guys, not listening. That's not it. I'm going like, guys, look at this stupid idiot, this moron. At least he saw something, because I've seen it too, kind of thing, or I've heard his voice, or I've seen him, or I've seen that place, or felt that kind of moment, or that he saved your life. And like, I had my own, like, I don't know you guys, so I'm trying to see, like, I don't want to do these videos, I really don't, on this topic. It's my soul, my chest telling me softly to do it. My head's yelling at me, you moron, they're gonna mock you, comments are gonna be cruel, and blah blah, I'll make sure of it. So I said, I don't care what people think of me, they can call me a stupid piece of shit on my comments, I don't care. I was in the army, I've heard way worse. So, and I wasn't just some random job, I was a combat engineer, a sapper. So I was in the army, but I don't mock jobs, but I'm a desk job, or I'm not in the field, or I'm not combat specialist category. That's not me. I wanted to fight, right? So the Lord just made sure I never got to go. He knows better. I thank him every day for it. Sorry I'm ranting and all. I haven't seen my family in almost 6 years. I'm constantly with my in-laws and my wife in their home because I'm sick. I can't get anything done anymore other than parenting. Even then I'm struggling hard energy-wise, but I'm planning on today, because there's 5-10 centimeters dropping, to take my son out, and my wife, well, she can stay home because it's really cold. It's like -30 today, but we're getting a 5-10 centimeters, and with the blowing snow, it's gonna be hard. And I saw on CTV News how seniors in Toronto are getting ripped off by these scammers for shoveling driveways. So I came up with a great idea for God to make him happy, you know, to please him, that I'd teach my son how to help people. Let's go shovel some driveways. We'll drive around in the snowstorm tonight when it's warmer, because it'll be warmer tonight. It'll be like the Arctic air will be gone. So I'm gonna take them shoveling driveways for seniors that we see when we drive by that are having a hard time and they're alone or whatever. Only seniors, and or people that are in need that can't do it themselves, and offer it for free. And not take the money even if they offer, because, you know, it's no good here. It's to make Christ happy and smile, and if you give me that, I got my reward. Obviously, I'm not gonna say those words, but I'm letting you guys know that. I'll just say, no, your money's not good here. I'm sharing the wealth with my Jeep. I can get through the storm, so some people can't afford a 4x4, and I was lucky to get one. I don't even know how I got it, but I'm just sharing the wealth. You know, if you're stuck, I'll pull you out for free. If you can't shovel, I'll shovel for free. You know, I'm a free guy. And this world is always counting pennies and dollars and trying to become rich and famous or whatever, and I just doing things for free itself is delayed gratification, right? So that's what I'm trying to do anyway. And he has told me he's happy with this stuff, like years ago, before I ever did any, and I was like confused, and he's like, you'll see in the future. Now I'm seeing it. I've been a stay-at-home dad since May of 2023, and I'm a EA daycare worker since 2019. Before that, I was a comm engineer and homeless shelter frontline crisis worker in Quebec for about 4.5 years, and then I did the army as a comm engineer. I served in the army, Canadian Army, and before that, I worked at 1819 for a whole year as a unit guard in juvenile detention at night in Quebec, Val-d'Or. So it's like everything I did, everyone was like, just make money. Oh, you stupid. You gotta provide. Even though God's a sole provider, you know. He'll provide you a window of opportunity. Doesn't mean you won't work. It just means that he'll give you a job that is more aligned with your calling towards, you know, being good and doing it for him. Knowingly or unknowingly. So, I just did all these jobs. Like, I swore my oath on the Bible when I got in the army. You have a choice in Canada, either the Queen and government, or at the time, 2011, December, when I got sworn in. Or the Bible. I chose the Bible. It was so dusty because I haven't been choosing a long time. And they said, sorry, no one's used it in a very long time, you know, not very much faith anymore. And I smiled and I just went like, they're lost my gain. I don't swear to man. That's why I'm not swearing to the government. I swear to God. And what I mean by swear is my oath. And in my head, before I swore my oath, I said, Lord, whatever you need me, call me. I'll do the best I can morally. I won't be hateful. I'll just do a job. For you. But I ask one thing in return. Make sure I come back in one piece and alive and not mentally broken. And then I swore my oath, put my hand on the Bible. When we were getting it, I was saying that in my head to him. You guys can believe me if you want or not. I'm just being honest about my life. Meanwhile, I was always the one that was thrown. I was thrown away from my mom's at 12 years old, and it's not her fault. I gave her hell. She didn't know what to do, so she gave me my dad. And, you know, from 12 to 15, I was living with my dad, and then ever since 15 years old, I've been on my own, like living with my girlfriend and her family at the time in high school, and then I graduated, went to back to Val-d'Or, Quebec from Oshawa, and, you know, got myself a tiny apartment where the shower would freeze at night. There was no insulation, so I could barely shower ever in the winter. I had to go to my mom's. It was this little bachelor's apartment studio, not even like this tiny little one room with the one washroom, that's it. My shed's bigger. And then I was all on my own for a long time. Then I had a girlfriend back then for 5 years, and then she went to France and saw like the people, relationships over there, and she came back. She's like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want, you know, I need better. So she left, and it wasn't on bad terms. It was just she's the high life kind of thing, and not in a bad way. Like, she's just the opposite side tracks from me, and I'm, you know, I'm worthless. So that's how I met my wife. And we were best friends for about a year, and then I asked her, and then we've been together ever since. I'm just really tired, and I don't know where to start. My life was so long, from 6 to 33. And being alone that long until you meet your wife is, all you have is God. At 8, I was eating out of garbages. I was purple almost, like my skin pale and purple from hunger. And it wasn't my mom's fault. She did everything. She started herself for me and my brother. But we were like garbage trucks. Food. So in the winter, minus 40 in Quebec Val-d'Or, Quebec is mostly winter the most of the time of the year. So I was lucky. I was eating in garbages, and he was telling me what. That's how I ended up finding out I like macaroni salad. Someone threw it out and it was still good. Just couldn't finish it, and God's like, no, don't eat that, eat this. You're not gonna get sick, and I did, you know. And it's not auditory in your head. It's in your chest. It's a sensation that turns into words instantaneously. Anyway, I don't know how I'm alive. I should be dead like good 20 times over in my life, from 6 to now, like from his attempts down there, like through my dad or anything. And now I know I'm 33, and 14, I asked to go through his life up there to get some semblance of an idea. Just because I feel bad for him, because the whole world, that's how Family Guy went in there mocking God, magic fingers, and he calls Jesus over and get the escalator out of here. Well, that's the night it aired, and for the first time, and I saw that, and I prayed to God, and I was like, make me understand your life, a microcosm for him, just so I can get what you want us to do. And even though I'm not perfect, I'm a human being, I'm probably gonna be the worst one, but at least I'll try my best, just out of love. I always told my wife I wish I could take a DeLorean and go back in time with a belt fed. And anyone who touched him, I would have belt fed them. Say, get away from him. You don't deserve him. But then I realized good intentions could slide to hell. He likes good acts, not intentions, and that's a good intention, but not a good act, because the outcome is very, very bad. He just hurt a lot of people who are just learning. He taught me that. It's not me. I was 14. How can a 14-year-old think that kind of stuff? We don't even know our butt from a hot rock. So I do love you guys. That's why I'm doing this, even though I know I'll probably be mocked and some people will be pissed at some things I say. But hey, that's the game, right? And I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, you know. I look, I'm Armorian, that's how I am. That's the closest follower. I prayed to God to give me someone in Orthodoxy that talks about you like he knows you, like he's seen you like I have. And I ended up landing on Marmari right away, within a week. 3 days, 4 days. A few years ago, and I just never stopped watching him because the way he talks about him is literally what I've seen. It feels like he's talking about a friend I know, like we know the same person, personally. Not just like I've read about him, but I mean like personally knows him. So, and we all do. We've all met him. It's just subconsciously when you don't remember sometimes, and sometimes you do. You know, it depends what he wants. Kind of like in Supernatural. Yeah, you've been here before. You just don't remember, but this time you'll remember. God wants you to remember this time. See, it's kind of like that for everyone, you know. And I'm sure you guys, like I'm saying things, and you guys that have experienced things are going like, oh, that's elementary. Jeez, buddy. You know, I'm going like, I'm didn't study. I'm not a scholar. I'm just did the best I can to being good, and always talk to him in my head whenever I'm thinking. It's always to him. Since I'm a teenager, because I was that trauma, all I had was him. Love you guys. I won't keep you any longer. I'll make more videos over time about little hints about a dream I had about what's the next event in the world. Not the next one automatically, but one of the tipping points. It's gonna be a nasty war, and I'm gonna get called back. I already saw it back in 2017, 18. I had a dream I was back in my unit, and I told my sergeant that in 2018, 2019, and he looked at me, he's like, Nick, if you're back, it's World War III. And I'm like, and he's like, well, the world's pretty quiet out there. I was like, not as quiet as you think. He's been talking to me like crazy lately, saying, how the hell do you know all these things? Not really like that, but like he's been, you know, when you get a sense someone's struggling to write something, because like, what the heck, man? How'd you know that? Well, that's kind of what's going on with me and him. He loves, like, he never talked to me like this before, and he's like talking to me like I'm his older brother now, and before that he was always serious when I was in the Army. He's my mentor. He's my everything militarily. So I love you guys. I really do. I'm tired of seeing the world hurt where you're at, no matter where you're from. You know, I'm Iranian, Iraqi, you know, Yemen, China, Taiwan, Philippines, Vietnam, you know, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. It doesn't matter where you're from on this planet. Russian. It doesn't matter. By the way, I'm Serbian, Canadian, so I'm a French Canadian Serb. What a mix. I don't hate anyone. Never did. I'm more of an ideology guy. I don't like people's personal actions. I'm not gonna blame a culture for some guy who did something stupid. Like, example, all cops are bad because one cop or a few cops went nuts over the years with power. It's like, come on, guys. Like, don't blame everyone. Don't do that. You know what I've always heard, and I never believed it till recently when I started seeing all these riots, not riots, but like protests, because there's a way of protesting, and this is not it. And I'm not saying like the old way of like, hey, you know, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, you guys are going to war. It's not protest you guys are doing. It's almost like a war without guns. It's almost like, feels like one person's gonna say something that's opposite of your view, and everyone's gonna just jump on each other, right? Mosh pit. It's crazy. So I always heard the saying, people are smart. A person is smart, people are dumb. And I never understood that. You know, a teacher told me that when I was in high school in history class, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And it just dawned on me before I made this video. I was like, oh, a person's really smart because they have no outside influence. They don't want to be ridiculed, so they're gonna think freely. When they're with people, one person coughs, everyone sneezes. You know, one person says, let's do this, everyone goes, ah! Well, you see what I mean. A person on their own can think, but if people in a group, unless you chose a good group, right? But if you're in the wrong crowd, well, you're gonna be you know, one screams, everyone roars, one roars, everyone jumps, you know, and starts attacking. It's insanity. And I know you guys are mad. I don't blame you. I'm mad too. You guys just need to trust them a little more up there. That's all. Don't trust me. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Just take it with a grain of salt and go do your thing with it. With your own thoughts, you know, your own feelings, your own opinions. And if you think I'm daft and all, that's okay, man. Cheers. You know, I wish you all the best. I do. And I pray for everyone on earth. I don't want anyone down there. After now, for what I've seen, it's like, no, thank you. It scares the shit out of me. And hopefully, if you have bad comments, like, you can comment whatever you want, but don't be surprised if, you know, when I answer, I say, you know, thank you for your opinion, you know, because I do cherish anyone's opinion, even if they're against me or hate me or whatever. It's free will. I'm not gonna choke someone's free will and saying what the hell they want. I'm sure some of you right now think I'm an idiot and are pretty pissed off with me with some things I said, going, what a moron, what about this, and blah, blah, blah. And that's okay, guys. You probably say something and I go like, hey, like my previous video I did when I tagged the Tack Room Bible study guy, I forget his name, I don't mean to be disrespectful and sabotage his name. I had a comment, you know, and I'm sure this person probably gonna see this video too. And man, you're awesome. Like, you made me think of something. So, like, that's what I mean. I don't know everything. I really don't. I know barely anything at all. But what I know. That's it. And it's through experience and not reading or being told, right? And that's all. And that's what got me into reading. And I use that on my cell phone. I talk to God. I was like, okay, God, I have a question. And I ask him, and then I'll flip randomly a page, land on something, and by God, the first thing I read is always finishing my question. It's beautiful. So he's my cell phone. I've been doing it since 2019, 2020. And if it doesn't say anything that fits, that's because he's like, you know the answer. You already know what's going on. Why are you asking me this? Why are you afraid? I do love you guys. And I want you guys all happy. Ranger Dad, signing out. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Stay morally right.